to everyone in the room right now. The debate school is about to start officially. Finally, thank you all for your patience. If you just joined, you will be in the courtyard, and in the north or upward is the temple. Please come in and take a seat on one of the virtual cushions. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll have to, I think, start as people are entering still. Okay, so where's Stefan? You can all come. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Oh, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go up on the stage, and I guess
Okay.
I'll message Stefan and ask him to come on the stage.
Okay, great. You?
Where is he? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Debate Winter School. My name is Lobsang Tunyet. We are starting our course now, even though some people are still entering the space. We'll have to try and communicate as best as we can that this is now open, and so people will be able to join. And sorry for those of you who have been sitting here for the last 20 minutes who managed to get in first, because the course instructors ourselves weren't able to get in until we had to. It took a long time for the loading process to upgrade the amount of people that we're allowed to have in this space, and so that's all the wait was. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so again, I said my name, Lobsang Dunya. I'm from Sarijay Monastery, which is in India, but even though I'm currently on Losar break, so I'm in the USA. And to my my avatars, my characters right, I think literally to my north, not too far away from where I am, up in Cambridge, Mass, is Joe Donovan. Would you like to introduce yourself? Hey, Joe.
Hi, guys. I am so happy to see so many people. I'm overjoyed to be here again. It's going to be a really exciting couple of days, couple of weekends. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your lives to come and do this. It is really, I mean, debate is one of the most fun things that you can possibly do. I cannot tell you how much fun it is. So I'm so great. I'm so happy to see that we were even booked to capacity, so much so that we had to expand our capacity. That's really exciting. My name is Jo. This is the second year that I've taught here, but it's my third year here. I learned debate in Nepal. I spent 11 years in Nepal in monasteries, and that's where I learned how to do debate. And I have recently been studying a PhD in Buddhist philosophy, and so I'm really excited to be here. I think that's it. Now, do we have Stefan, or should we
Well,
introduce him?
before we introduce the rest of the instructors and
Yeah,
coaches, let's
looks like
just
there's a
uh
question.
you have a question or there is a
No, it
question?
looks like somebody has a question in the audience.
Somebody has a question? Oh, let's wait on questions. Of course, you can type things into the chat and we'll just see it. So that's one way you can, if you have a burning question. um, and again, everybody, please, if you have a technical issue, then Stefan actually is the best one to handle those, even though we also want him to come up to so we can introduce him on stage too. So, but let's just give a very brief, very, very quick overview of what the course will be, and then we'll continue with introductions. So, what we're going to do is we have 4 days, right? 2 weekends, Saturday, Sunday, today, tomorrow, and then next weekend, Saturday, Sunday. And then we also have a Wednesday just to keep the momentum of the course going in between those 5 work days. Who knows what else is going to come up during the week that might make it hard to remember what you learned this weekend. So we'll have an optional session on Wednesday evening. And what we're going to do is each day we're going to have a lecture, which is the session we're in now, including some debate practice, a little breakout, and then we're going to come back for Q&A. And that's going to repeat each day of the course. And then we'll have 2 debate sessions. So that's the next 2 sessions of today, or for some of you it might be tomorrow morning, just however the timing works out. And so in the debate practice sessions, then we'll really just be using that time, giving less discussion or just lecturing from us, and more time for you guys to just sit with each other, your classmates, practice the the method that we're learning together. And so we're not really in this course to learn philosophy or the Buddhist philosophy, even though we're going to use some basic kind of philosophical framework from the Nalanda tradition, and that's going to sort of form the basis for our debates, but we're going to just be teaching the format itself. Okay, so that's just so everyone knows what we're doing here. We're learning the Nalanda debate format. Okay, and so let's see, we have, okay, Stefan, I think, is up here, so we can introduce Stefan. And so what we have is 2 instructors, right? So that's the course itself, and then who is involved. We have 2 main instructors, that's myself and Joe. We have 3 main debate coaches or mentors, people who have some years of experience, who will be walking around and helping all the new debaters. And I know that many of you also, who are not amongst that smaller group, also have more experience. So feel free to, pair with brand new people if you have more experience, and help, anytime you're able to. So there's a mix here. There's a mix of people who are brand new. Today is their first time ever trying Nalanda Debate, and some people who have been involved for anywhere from a year to several years practicing and learning. And so then those other instructors, if we could, and coaches, if we could all come up briefly to introduce yourself. So that's if Lukesh, you're here, you can come, and Venerable Droma and Stefan. Let's see. Good, Venerable Droma. Okay, so Venerable Droma, do you want to unmute yourself and just say a word? I think Stefan had to already is getting called to do tech support, so we'll let him do that until he's ready to come back. But Venerable Droma, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Doma, so I'm very happy to be here. I really enjoy debating, so I'm really looking forward to meeting you all. I'm currently studying at Jamyang Chuling Institute, studying philosophy and debate here, and also recently attended the debate school, fall debate school as well. So looking forward to meeting you all, and if you have any questions, anytime, feel free to ask coaches and instructors here.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. And just again, so everyone is aware, what we'll be doing is kind of spreading ourselves up in the debate sessions depending on our time zone. So Joe and I are in the Eastern Standard Time Zone, USA, so we'll be able to attend those debate sessions. And then Venerable Droma and Lokesh are both in India, so we'll be able to attend most of those in sessions that are at that time, where I think it's the session C anyway, and Stefan is in Europe, so he'll be available during some other sessions. So that way we can each, be there for some of the debate sessions. Okay, just so let's see, Stefan is back. So, but let's just have Lokesh introduce yourself briefly, since you're the coach. So then Stefan is going to do the final introduction. Okay, Lokesh, please.
Hi. So hi, this is Lokesh Jindal. I've been a student, like most of you people have been, of the Nalanda tradition. I started with the master's course in Tibet House, Delhi, and I've done a little bit of learning at ILTK about Dudra, which is a collected topics, which is basically what we're going to be covering part of it in this course, I guess. And along with the, Lorik and Tariq piece also. So I hope I'll be able to contribute a little. And my bigger wish is that I'll be able to learn something from you people. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining us as a coach. And so, just for those who don't know anything about this kind of philosophical framework of the Nalanda tradition, the terms mentioned there are different aspects of introductory Buddhist philosophy that relate with psychology, cognitive psychology, and sort of meta logic, we can say, or the structure of logic itself. So those are the classes that Lokesh has been studying at the Lama Tsongkhapa Institute, or the ILTK. Okay, Stefan. So Stefan has been instrumental in organizing the course. He's going to, well, he'll introduce himself, but he's also the architect of our virtual Sarah J debate courtyard and temple here. So it's a beautiful space that we now have access to, thanks to that process working out finally. So Stefan, please introduce yourself.
Hi, thank you very much, Donju, for the warm words. I'm Stefan Riedel, originally from Germany. I have a background in cognitive science, was working in computer science, and have been studying artificial intelligence for a bit. But really, I see myself as a cognitive scientist, and I don't want to put too much science onto debate. I think it's important to appreciate it for what it is without trying to put it into some framework, just to set the expectations right. I've been getting more and more into debate over the last couple of years. It started with a project on Marieke van Vught and I were doing in 2019, and since then I've been involved a bit more in organizing the debate winter school, for example, which is a wonderful way to get more about debate, learn more about debate. I think it's a wonderful technique to understand the other person better, understand the topic better, and I find it fascinating how so few rules of logic can bring about so many unexpected, wonderful insights. And I'm here. I'm not going to be much on stage in this debate school. Probably be more busy in the chat and on Slack. And if you have any problems on any kind, then please feel free to approach me, especially if it's technical problems. And other than that, there will be probably a few announcements more about technical things, like how can you do this, how can you do that. I will be posting on Slack for that. So very happy that this debate school is taking off and that so many people are joining. And I wish you best of luck with your learning experience and have great 2 weekends and practice sessions. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Thank you, Stefan. And thanks for your incredible support and help in running the program, running the course. So, okay, no, that wasn't too much for introductions, right? It would be lovely to have everyone go around and introduce yourself as students, but that would take up the rest of the the whole session we have, and we're already running a bit late. But we do have the Slack channel, so everyone, or the Slack forum with the different channels. So please make use of that, and that will be also a space where so you can introduce yourself and just get friendly with each other, get to know each other, but you can also use that space to ask questions about the course. So asking questions about what we're talking about. If you don't have time during the Q&A session to get a question in, then you can use that Slack forum, and then someone will get back to you as we're able with a hopefully satisfying answer. And of course, there's also a channel in there for debates, so people can sort of carry on debates that you start here in the course, in the sessions, and then you can use the forum to also debate. So with that, so it looks like there's some people messaging me still about I'm trying to also check on everyone getting in, so that really was quite an unexpected little delay there, but no, some people are still trying to get in, so I'm just gonna, let's see.
If you want, Doniola, I can say a few things.
So that's, yeah, I go and deal with some people are messaging me, so if Joe, you can sort of introduce a little bit about Nalanda Debate briefly. They'll be back in just 2 minutes. Okay, thank you.
So basically, the way this is going to go is that Donio will give a little introduction speech today, and then we'll break out and we'll practice, and then we'll come back and we'll ask questions and we'll do housekeeping. That's the structure of this first session. And then in the practice sessions, we'll meet here, and then we'll give you some exercises, some sort of practice trainings, and then we'll go away and we'll do them. Basically, that's how it works with practice sessions. Now, the way that this is going to work, because I mean, it's wonderful that we have people from all different levels, from all different backgrounds, all different languages, and that's super exciting, but it means that it's a little bit hard to teach everybody sort of level by level. So we're kind of going to throw you into it, like from the beginning. And if you are new, and there's a lot of people who are new, I recommend just giving it a go. It can be terrifying when you first get out there and debate. It can be absolutely terrifying, but my advice to you is just to try it, because if you don't actually do it, then it's really hard to learn debate in theory without actually sort of engaging in it. So I would suggest, if you can, try it, jump into it, give it a go, and don't be afraid to say something stupid. Don't be afraid to get it wrong, and don't be afraid to lose, because I tell you what, losing is the best part about debate. Winning is really fun, but losing is even better because it's so exciting. And you're stuck with an opponent and they have a great view and they've locked you into a position, and you can see like a freight train coming in the distance. You can see that there's no way to get out of it. So you wiggle left and you can't get out of it, and you wiggle right and you can't get out of it. And it's really joyful when the train finally hits. Okay, maybe that's a bad analogy. So basically, don't be worried if you feel overwhelmed. Donio today will give a short presentation, and this will introduce some of the basics of debate. If you don't understand what's going on, it's totally fine. I had to learn these things over and over and over again, like a lot of times. So if you're somebody who has either done it before or who picks things up quickly, that's amazing, that's great. But if you're somebody like me who needs repetition to really like consolidate things, that's totally fine. We're going to do that. We're going to go over it again and again and again. through the coming days, and also in the practice sessions, and also you can ask us again and we'll go over it again. And the idea is that once you internalize the logic, you get a bit of a flow on and you're off and running. So if you are a newbie, then there is a lot of new material, but please don't panic. If you are an old hat, if you've done this before, and I know there are quite a few people here who have done this before, and I think one or two who are very, very proficient in this, skilled. So I would ask you guys who have done it before or who have some ability with this to really think of it as a kind of group exercise, helping other people, assisting other people, because that really is an amazing way to learn from people who have done it before, just from engaging in practice. So please, you guys who have done it before, you are the gems, you are the very precious, important pieces of this puzzle. So I please, ask you, request you to, be patient with people, help people, answer questions, and just, engage people with people in debate slowly to really help them in their learning process. The other thing I wanted to say is we have so many resources. You will find a way that suits you to learn this. Like I said, it's really important to engage in debate, but sometimes, if you want to watch some other people debate, especially if they, have more experience, if you want to watch them for a while, that's great. That's a wonderful way to do it. There's the lectures, there's all the resources, there's the workbooks. We'll send you out the slides. What else have we got? There's like the drills and the videos. You can come and speak to us one-on-one. There are a plethora of ways to aid your learning. You don't have to use all of them. Don't feel obliged to use everything, but just find what works for you and then use those methods is what I would suggest. And I think Doniola's back. Did you want to start your presentation, Doniola?
I can do that.
Okay, great.
Thank you so much, Joe. So, as Joe said, we will have some slides that we haven't sent you yet, but we will after the lectures, so that way you can use them as notes to review, but we'll just be showing them as we explain things. And the other, so actually to introduce, I'll just say a few more brief words about the history of this particular program and how it came to be. So this is the third debate winter school that we've held around this time of year, and around January, February, 3 years in a row. And so how it started, actually, as Stefan mentioned, was from, well, I guess if we we really want to be strictly logical about it, then we can go back to the awakening of Lord Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, where the Nalanda tradition started. But actually, to be really strictly logical, we'd have to go back even further, right? So, just in the near causes, where from a neuroscience researcher named America van Voort at the University of Groningen, the Netherlands, and she is studying the monks at Sarah J Monastery and now expanding to other monastic institutions to see the impact of Nalanda debate on their brains, on their emotions, on their cognition. So using that, using the monks and this style of debate that we're all going to be learning as their object of research, their area of research. And so she also, in doing this, decided at some point that it was important to learn to debate herself so that she had a better grasp on what it was she was really looking at, how to analyze the data, how to even formulate the research, right? So myself and another monk, Tenzin Gajie, some of you may know, we started to teach her a little bit of debate, and then after she was no longer present in the monastery, we continued online. A few other people joined. Stefan was one of them. So we started these kind of weekly debate meetings, and that evolved into a 5-day intensive program. So it was 5 days straight the first 2 years, but that was, during more of the sort of COVID period where people's schedules were, people weren't as going to work as much during that time, right? So it was convenient to have 5 days straight. Now we're doing it on just weekends because we're more, much of the world is back to a more standard 5-day work week. So that's sort of the near history. And the other piece of that is that we decided last year that even though these short courses are an excellent way to get you introduced to the Nalanda style of debate, it's still, as Joe said, there's a lot of resources, a lot of ways you can learn, but it also just requires practice. It requires time. It requires doing it again and again. Any skill, right? So this is why we decided to hold a 1 month in-person debate course, and that we did for the first time in November and December of 2022, just a few months ago. And so that was at Sarajay, the monastery in Karnataka, India, and that was very successful. People enjoyed it and learned a lot. We certainly, as the instructors, we could see the progress occurring throughout the course of the month, and that so that residential program uh, is certainly helpful, and so there will be, or at least as far as we're planning for sure to have another one of those this fall or when around November. So please stay tuned. Stay, we'll be sending out emails later about that in-person residential program. And so for now, this is how we view this course is really we're giving you're here, and some people can really gain the skill quickly if you have that disposition, but most of us, we really need a little more time. So it's getting a taste. We're here to get a taste of Nalanda debate. And as Stefan mentioned, with relatively few rules of logic, we can really carry on these very precise, deep, and profound dialogues, these one-on-one debates or dialogues, using a fairly small set of rules. And that's what we're going to be explaining in over the next 20 minutes or so. So what we'll do is we'll go through the structure of Nalanda debate, this set of rules, the structure, what we say when we're debating, format. And then we're going to break up into pairs and do a little bit of practice ourselves to start right away getting used to this new format of dialogue, because it's again, it's something that just takes training to get used to saying the words, getting it out of your mouth. Okay, so before we do that, I just want to ask everybody, does everybody have the Debate Winter School workbook? This is going to be the main document that we'll be using throughout the course, and it will have all the exercises in it that we're going to ask everyone to do. So I would say if you don't have it, please raise your hand, and then I can quickly send it out as an email attachment. If I know the reason you might not have got it is because as there's a lot of emails that seem to get into people's spam folders, and maybe people didn't see the emails that were sent out. So I'm looking for hands if you don't have it. Okay, so we have a few people who don't have it. So I'm just going to quickly send out an email again to everybody. Yeah, just everybody. And make sure, so just if you can wait, I don't know if Joe, you want to say something, it'll just take 1 minute. Do you have anything else to say?
You know what? I've always got stuff to say.
Okay, so why don't you fill in the silence for just 1 minute?
Okay, so I also want to make it really, really clear that I mean, this obviously, it might be a push to say that this is completely secular because we are, standing here in a Buddhist, in a virtual Buddhist monastery. But I do want to really emphasize that, I mean, the origin of this type of reasoning was sort of interfaith dialogue and debate and discourse. That's where it came from. And the point of Debate Winter School is not to, I mean, for the people who are Buddhist here, we've got Buddhists and non-Buddhists, we've got people of all different beliefs and backgrounds. The people that are Buddhists and are doing this in order to sort of develop their faith, that's wonderful. You're very, very welcome. But I also want to say for the people who are not Buddhist and are here just to learn the style of reasoning, that's also so wonderful. And I really, really take so much joy in that. And I want to sort of everybody to keep in mind that, what counts as sort of good answers or good responses are going to be ones that don't rely on the authority of the Buddha in this context, and that don't sort of, fall back into, well, that's just what the Buddha said, because we don't all agree what the Buddha said, and we don't all agree what counts as scriptural authority. So that's something that I really wanted to keep in mind. And I also wanted to, and I know that, of course, you guys are going to do this, but just be respectful of other people's ideas and beliefs. It's very rare that that sort of there is even the opportunity to disrespect other people's beliefs, because we're talking mostly about, and you'll see when you have a look at the sort of setup, we're talking mostly about, colors and shapes and things which are pretty innocuous. There's a whole bunch of questions. So as Donio's not here, I might take a couple of questions. Although we really want to get you out there. So let's take.
Well, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Okay, so I'm so excited that you guys have questions. Please hold on to the questions. When we come back after, then we can answer some questions. If you don't get time in the next, when we return to answer questions, you can always come and ask Donya or I, or any of the people that are coaching, or put the questions in the chat or on the Slack, just so you know, because we always have so many questions, and it's very exciting, and already I can see them. So hold on.
Right, and I asked people to raise your hands if you didn't have that workbook. So maybe
that's probably
if
what
you
it is.
did
Okay.
that, then please lower your hand if you got it, and if you still have a question, you can keep your hand up, and maybe we will just take a question just to have a little bit of just to hear from someone else for a minute. So is this a question from Shital? Do you have a pressing question? If you do, you would want to come up to the stage, because from the stage, that's where everyone else in this room will hear you. So if that's maybe the hand is just left up accidentally. So let's just go on to the. So again, so we have today, since we got started a bit late, a little less time, but I think well, if we can go maybe 10 minutes late, of course, if people have to leave for some urgent reason, that's what you have to do. But let's see, let's just plan to go until 8:10 a.m. Eastern time, which anyway, wherever you are, just 10 minutes past the scheduled time for the end of today's first session. Okay. So it's so funny, isn't it, how we already see how relative things are when we're gathered together from in all different times. I can't say morning because, well, there's no absolute morning. Okay, so I'm going to do a screen share. That's probably the easiest way to get this to everybody, because, like as I said, we'll send this as a PDF out after the lecture, but for now I'll just do a screen share. Let's see. Okay. So someone just messaged that they don't have the workbook. I just sent, so just to be, sorry again, just housekeeping. So did everyone just get the email I sent? I thought I sent it to everybody. So it should have been sent to everybody. If you got an email, please raise your hand. Or maybe instead of a hand, you could do one of the other what do you call those little emoji things? Because hand does make it look like a question. You can do a little popper emoji. Okay, people got it. At least some people did. Good. Thumbs up. That's a good one. Okay, thank you. Okay, so people got that. So the workbook should be in your email in a PDF. Okay, so that's not what we're looking at right now, though. That's what we're going to use when we go into the breakout session where we actually join up with a partner. So for right now, I'm just going to do a screen share. So where is that? There we are. Okay, so this is the structure of Nalanda Debate, and I'm not sure, Joe, how does this look on your screen? Because on my screen, all I'm seeing is the current window. Can you see people and the screen at the same time?
Yeah, I can see you and the screen at the same time.
Okay, great, because then that way we can interact together and people will see both the screen and our videos. So we're going to demonstrate as we go through this these topics in the table of contents here. And so just listen and we're not actually going to conduct a full debate right now, but we'll just lay out sort of each piece of the basic structure for Nalanda Debate. Okay, so we see in the table of contents, just to go through it, we'll start with the two roles in a debate. That means two people, right? So the two roles, the two roles that you'll play. Then we have the two basic types of debate. So we'll get into that briefly. Then there are two types of questions related to each of the two types of debate. And then within the two types of questions, one of those is logic questions. So there are two types of logic questions. Then there is the bread and butter of debate. So the three-part syllogism. This is really when we study, as Lokesh said, he's studying this program called in Tibetan Tariq, which is really the science of logic. It's like meta logic. So what you're looking at mostly is how this three-part syllogism works and how a reason, one of the three parts, the third part, how the reason is related to the other two parts, how it actually can prove something, can prove some thesis, some claim. Okay, so then the next rest of it will be the responses that the person gives. So there's two parties. One person's giving questions or reasons, and another person's responding. So we'll get into that. So then let's just start with the two roles. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. Okay. Two roles or parties in a debate. Now, it doesn't have to actually be just two people. So you'll see if you come to Sarah J for the fall debate school or any other program where you have a gathering, an in-person gathering of people, or even here occasionally during our winter school online, sometimes you'll have multiple challengers, multiple people asking questions, sometimes, and then also multiple defenders. So we generally in the monastery in our daily debate sessions, which we have either one or two sessions per day, so anywhere from 2 to 5 hours of debate per day. We'll switch back and forth. So we'll do one-on-one pairing. Do say 45 minutes, an hour of that, then switch to a group debate. Okay, so that's common. But what are those two roles anyway? So we have, and I'll stand up with my, let me see, take my headphones off, just so I'll give the physical, what do you call it? The physical expression that we use when we are a challenger. Again, if we're in person. Well, so actually, I'll stand up after I say what we do because if my headphone is just the cord's not long enough to reach if I stand up. So I'll say it now and then I'll do the physical expression. So what we would do as a challenger is we would be one standing. Okay, so if I'm a challenger, Joe is a defender, she would be sitting down and I would be standing up, and the challenger asks questions, but they also have a series of physical motions that you do while you're asking a question, while you're giving a reason. So what is that? It includes clapping your hands and stomping your foot. So I'll show you how that's done. And of course, you haven't seen what the format of the questions is yet, but I'll just say an example of one. So I would say something like, take the subject, a cat. It follows that it's an animal. Clap my hands. And so I'll just stand up and do the motion for that very quickly. Okay, take the subject, a cat. It follows that it's an animal.
I accept.
Okay, could you see that?
Yeah, so.
You could kind of see it. Okay. Okay, so a challenger stands and does that. Now, of course, if you watch some of the videos, you'll see, right, that we sent out, you'll see people in the proper using those physical expressions. Okay, so as a challenger, what do you do then? So the challenger, you really control the debate. You have more freedom than the answerer because you get to ask the questions. It's like you can, as we say, it's like you kind of lead the course of the debate. So that means that you have to have some idea of where you want to go in the debate. So you have a bit of um, there's a bit of that responsibility for you as the challenger, that you have to have some idea. Okay, well, what do I want to ask about? What do I want to know? What do I want to find out about? What do I want to challenge my partner about? Okay, and then the defender. So you are sitting as a defender. You are responding to the challenger's queries. We can say a challenger or a questioner for the challenge. The first one, challenger or questioner. The second person, we can say defender or just answerer. Okay, and so the defender, you have a limited set of responses. We'll go through those now. And then you have a little bit of a rule. It's funny because it's not a strict rule, but in general, the way that at least it's done in the institutions where this debate is most heavily practiced, the Tibetan monastic institutions, the idea for a defender is that you're trying to really hold the textbook position. Now, it might seem to contradict what Joe just said about not using authority as a reason, but you're not using authority as a reason. It's more like you're, by committing to the position of a certain tradition or textbook, then it forces you to be creative to try and see why is this position what's stated in this textbook, the author's position. And it helps you to develop your own series of reasoning to come to conclude what they concluded. Now, you might not really buy into it, and you might have other reasons for not, but so again, that's why it's not a very strict, completely strict rule, but that's a basic way that we practice debate. Okay, moving on. Okay, so that's clear, right? Two parties, challenger, defender. Two types of debate. Okay, so this is just very general, and it's not like you don't like formally say, okay, now we're going to do the first type of debate. Now we're going to do the second type of debate. They kind of blend together in an actual debate. But what are they? The first is called counting debate. So this is where you go through what are the categories and definitions within the topic that you want to debate. So using our debate outline, which is in that workbook you all have now, the PDF, it's at the end of it. So in that debate outline, it has a section. The debate outline is titled, right? Matter and the physical world, and that is the topic, the general topic. So within that, we have different categories, right? External matter and internal matter. We have each of the five, right, sense objects. So you would posit those. You would just state them essentially. So that's counting debate. You just state, okay, this is the definition of matter. These are the types of matter, etc. Then logic debate. That's where you actually probe the topics that were laid out. So you set the ground of a debate, and then you start to question it. You start to build more. You develop doubts about, well, why is that the definition? Is it really? What can we use as a counter example to show that it's not suitable, it's not feasible? And then that's where the actual debate comes in. Okay. And so, as it says here, that constitutes the bulk of a debate session, the logic debate. So, counting debate maybe takes up, let's just 10%, whatever. There's no exact number, but something maybe like 5% or 10% of the time of your debate, and then the logic debate takes up the bulk of it. Okay, so now we have two types of questions. So here we'll start doing a little demonstration, me and Joe and I together. So here we will look at these two types of questions in relation to the two types of debate on the previous slide. Okay, so logic questions are used, guess where? When you're doing logic debate. Okay, the open-ended or information-seeking questions are they're used exclusively. Sorry, in counting debate, these are the only questions you use. You don't use logic questions for counting debate. You can also use these during logic debates as well, but they are just to draw out information. That's why they're called information-seeking questions. These are used to draw out information from a defender. So what's an example of a logic question? We'll just say the questions that are here. And Joe, if you want to give a response, even though we haven't gone through those possible responses, let's just you can say one that you feel appropriate for this. So take the subject, the shape of a house. It follows that it is a high shape.
Why?
Why? Okay, so that's a logic question. Okay, and then an open-ended question. So it follows that you can posit the definition of shape.
I accept.
Okay, posit it.
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. Um,
So,
Daniel, what's the definition of shape again?
so it's something reasonably identified as a shape.
Something
Yes.
reasonably identified as a shape.
There we go. So that's all. So an open-ended question is something as simple as asking for the definition of something. Another kind is, and again here we have the example it follows, you can posit the definition of matter, divisions of matter, and then when we're seeking a reason. So what did I just do? I asked Joe essentially with the first question, is the shape of a house a high shape? And she denied it by saying why. And we'll get into how that works, but she denied it. So now I can ask her for a reason. So the shape of a house is not a high shape because?
Because it's a low shape.
Because it's a low shape. Good. Perfect. Okay, so that's those are types of information-seeking questions. And so that's actually where, as talking about the two the two parties, the challenger has more freedom. They control the direction of the debate. They say more. But here, when you ask an information-seeking question, that's when you give the defender. The challenger is giving the defender a chance to give some more information, right? To say something more about their position, their perspective, rather than just limiting to the four typical answers, which we will come to shortly. Okay, so we're going through a lot. So what do we have again? Just reviewing as we go along. We have two parties in a debate, two types of debate, two types of questions, and then within the logic questions, we have two types of logic questions. So we have a statement of a thesis and a statement of pervasion. So again, these are these are talked about in some of the videos that we sent out. So if you haven't watched those also will be helpful to review this. If you've watched them already, then what we're doing now is a review for you. But essentially, they're called questions, but they're also statements. So they're questions, but they're phrased as statements. They're like questions because you have to respond to them with an affirming or a denying answer. Either affirm or deny as the defender, so it's like a yes or no question, but they're not stated, with like, is A B, is X Y. It's stated like this. So how is it stated? Well, take the subject, Socrates. It follows that he is immortal.
I accept.
Take the subject, an electron. It follows that it is matter.
Why?
Okay, good. So those are the phrasings of a thesis statement, a thesis question. You could call it either way. You take a subject, and then you say it follows that it is some predicate. Some predicate. So this is really this itself is a unique way of looking at the world, right? Because we're taking a subject, and then what is a subject? Well, it can be anything that you can express verbally, that you can think of. Anything that you can think of can be a subject. And when you look at the Sanskrit and Tibetan term that we use here, that we translate here as subject, Sanskrit is dharman, Tibetan is chichen. It means very literally just something with qualities. So we're taking subject, something with qualities, and then we're asking by saying it follows that's like asking yes or no. It follows that it is this quality or that quality. It is mortal here being the quality, Socrates being the thing that possesses qualities. Take the subject Socrates, follows that he is mortal. Okay. Good. So it's a
Don't
unique way of looking.
sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm just looking at the time and I'm worried that we're running out of time. So I'm trying to think what is the most necessary information for the team to get out and do this first exercise. And I think the statement of thesis is really important for this next exercise.
That's right. So why don't we, in fact, you're right, time is running low. So why don't we leave the statement of pervasion for when because we're not going to use that until the next session, or even not even until tomorrow. So why don't we just stop there, but then just quickly go through what are the responses. Okay, so what are the responses? Because the exercise that we'll be doing now and in the debate practice is going to be just looking at this statement of thesis. So we have that. Again, you have something with qualities, and you're asking about, does it have such and such quality? Does electron have the quality of being matter? Does Socrates have the quality of being mortal? So how do you phrase it? Take the subject, Socrates. It follows that he is mortal, with a clap at the end. Good. And so then what are the answers? Okay, so 2 answers that you can give. Right? So we said there are 4 answers available, but only 2 answers to give after a thesis. So these are some of those simple rules of logic that Stefan was referring to. It's simple. You have a thing with qualities. You say it follows it has X. It follows it has such and such quality. That's your yes or no question. So how do you say yes or no? The answer. If you want to accept it, you say I accept. Simple enough. If you want to deny it, you say why. So to say yes, you say I accept. To say no, you say why. So why has a dual function, right? It's a denial. So Joe did deny that last one. Take the subject and electron. I'll just ask you again, Joe. Take the subject and electron. It follows that it's matter.
Why?
Why? Okay, so as you see on the bottom here, this is what she means. When she says why, it means no, the electron is not matter. But it also means at the same time, right, and or, it means it has both implications. It just means she's rejecting it. But it also means, but what is the reason for why it, sorry, I should say, what is the reason for why it is matter? That's a typo. So sorry about that. But so it should say what is the reason for why it's matter. So that as the defender, she's saying why. That's really herself, right? That's itself. That's a question. So if I'm asserting, take the subject and electron, it follows that it is matter. I'm asserting something affirmative, saying it is matter. So she says why. At once it's denying it, and at the same time she's begging the question. Well, why do you think it's matter? So that means that would impel me as a challenger to give a reason, right? At the same time, because it has two meanings, it automatically lets me know, even though she didn't say it explicitly. What does it say here? Let's highlight it. If a thesis is denied, the opposite thesis is implicitly accepted. So I know I don't even have to say it, although we do often say it just to clarify, just to make everything super clear. We repeat things a lot. She just accepted that the subject, an electron, is not matter. Okay, so make this very clear in your head. When you say why to a thesis statement, take the subject, an electron, it follows that it's matter. Why?
Why?
Thank you. That means, what did you just accept? And now I'll say it explicitly. Then take the subject, an electron. It follows that it's not matter.
I accept.
I accept. Right. So she already accepted that implicitly when she said why. You accept the exact opposite, or in other words, the negation, right? Affirmative statement, take the subject and electron, it follows that it is matter. If you say why to it, it means you've accepted that an electron is not matter. So when as a challenger, they just explicitly ask that very thesis, take the subject and electron, it follows that it's not matter. You should say I accept. Now you might not, but that just means that you've contradicted yourself. So this is the funny thing. We're not perfect. We have a lot of contradictions in our mind. So that's the whole idea here, is that because we have such a clear structure of debate, it allows us to work through the contradictions in our mind. So 1 second, we might say why to the positive thesis, then they ask the direct negation. Take the subject and electron, it follows it's not matter. Well, sometimes we might want to say why to that too, but that just contradicted ourselves. So we have to find this helps us to develop clarity in our mind. Okay, so that's really all we do need. Thank you, Joe, for pointing that out, that time is running out and that we need to practice. And that's really all we do need for our first practice session. So what we're going to do now is turn to, and I've printed mine out here, the Debate Winter School Workbook. And we're going to turn to Worksheet 1, Asking, Answering Theses. Page 1, Worksheet 1. Very simple. Okay. So what we're going to do is Joe and I will we'll read the instructions here on stage, and then we'll go through. What do you think, Joe? Let's do maybe 5 examples from worksheet 1 and 5 examples from worksheet 2 on stage.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Yes,
Okay,
good.
we'll just demonstrate them just so everyone can see again. Now, for people who have done debate, been practicing, doing a whole course for a year or two, this is going to be a little boring probably, but that's okay. That's for everyone else. It's totally new, so we have to learn this structure. We have to learn this structure. Okay, so this is how you ask a basic question, one of the basic questions, and we'll get to the other kind of question, which is called again a pervasion question. We'll get to that. Um, it will be tomorrow or I think it will be tomorrow. I don't have the curriculum in front of me, but it will either be tomorrow or in the second debate practice today. So we'll get to that one next. And just be aware that the thesis questions have quite a different meaning from the pervasion questions, but that's, again, we'll get to that. Let me just double check on some of the chat. Okay.
Okay, I can read if you want.
Yeah, just read the instructions.
Okay.
Sure.
So answering thesis, decide who will be the challenger and who will be the defender. The challenger says, take the subject, and then says the written subject. Then they say, it follows it is, and then they say the predicate. And then you can add articles like the, and, or plurals as you like. And then the defender will answer with either I accept or why. And you can switch roles. Very super easy. I don't even think we need to demonstrate that. I think people probably can get that.
Yeah, well, we just run through 5 exercises just to
Okay, we're
just to make
really
sure.
running. We're really
Yeah.
low on time. Okay, let's do it. Cool.
Well, we have until. Oh yeah, you're right. Even okay. Well, I think Q&A. What we'll do is we'll have everyone go out, find a partner, and then do the practice. Run through. What we'll do is ask you to go through worksheet 1 and worksheet 2. Okay, so there's a total of 60 examples in those 2 worksheets, but they're short. They're just these little yes or no questions essentially, right? And so that shouldn't take you that long. And again, switching back and forth between who's challenger and defender. And then the Q&A, what we'll do is we'll make that optional. If you have questions and you want to ask something, you can come back here and we will wait. But if you need to go so that have a break before the next session, then you can go and then you can ask your questions later in the Slack, or you can even watch the recording of this. This is being live streamed to YouTube, which means that it will be saved on YouTube, and so and you should all have the link to the channel where you can watch. So if you want to just double check, oh, what were the questions, you can check that later. So Joe, let's just do 5 examples, and this time you be the challenger. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. Bring it on.
No, you be the challenger. I'll be the defender.
Okay. Take the subject, cow. It follows it is an animal.
I accept.
Take the subject, cow. It follows it is a camel.
Why?
Take the subject, mammal. It follows it is a camel.
Why?
Take the subject, car. It follows it is a train.
Why?
Take the subject, train car. It follows it is a car.
I accept.
Great.
Good. That's all we're doing. And so we have the first worksheet is like just sort of simple everyday objects, and it starts to get more into the contents of our debate outline, this which is based in sort of this Nalanda tradition view of 5 sense objects constituting the material world. So of course they have presentations also of particles and atoms, but it's really more essential to talk about the physical world and the phenomenological aspect. So that's why we talk about the visual form, color and shape, sound, smells, taste, tactile objects. Okay, so that's going to be in here. So everyone go and find a partner. You can just hop in one of, oh, we didn't explain yet, but if you watch, hopefully you watched the introductory video on how to use this Gather platform, but there are black circles outside. When you step into a black circle, it means that you're in a private space. So those are your little spaces to meet with a debate partner. So go hop into a black circle outside, find someone who's in one already. If there's one that's empty, go in and wait for someone to come, and we will walk around and check on you, but we will come back in here at 8:10. But for everyone else, which 8:10 Eastern time, and for everyone who has to go, you can just finish your practice, your drill, and go. If you want to come and ask questions or listen to others and stay late, then you're welcome to do that. Okay? Hopefully that's clear. So we will ring a bell at 8:10 just to let you know that the time is up. All
That's
right.
15 minutes, by the way, for people in different time zones.
That's right. That's 15 minutes. So please, everyone, go find a partner, get in a little circle, a little shadow circle, and enjoy.
Donula, I'm so sorry for rushing. I was just really worried about people missing out on the
No, that's right. You were right. I wasn't
we can
really.
circle back around to the rest of the slides.
No,
So
yeah,
I
it's perfect
apologize.
because we already have, again, everything else that needs to be discussed there is in the next presentation,
We
right?
can do it, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and then they can ask us again. Yeah, so I'm really sorry about that. I because
No, thank you
I
for
know how much
keeping an eye. That's good.
important the breakout is, so that's why I was like. So I'm really sorry. So I felt really bad being
Oh
like.
no. It was very
Okay.
good to reel us in the time wise. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, so should we go and see
Yeah.
how people are?
Sure.
All right, let's go.
Hello? Do you need a partner? Hello?
Okay, that's it, right? We just continue with the worksheet. Okay.
Correct.
Take the subject camel. It follows it is a mammal.
Why?
Take the subject mammal. It follows it is a camel.
Why?
Take the subject car. It follows it is a train.
Why?
Okay.
All right. We can switch?
Yes.
All right. Take the subject a train car. It follows it is car.
I accept.
Take the subject Toyota. It follows it is a car.
I accept.
Take the subject car. It follows it is a Toyota Prius.
Why?
Take the subject Tesla. It follows it is a car.
I accept.
Oh, hello. Hello, do you need a partner?
No, I think this is a private space, right?
Yes, so you have to find a partner to go through the drill.
Gotcha.
Unless you want to just listen to someone else doing it. If you're not sure about it, you can join another pair
No,
and
I
listen.
was wandering around and I realized this is a private space, so I just came inside. I didn't know. I don't know what to do next.
So you want, if you can find a partner, do you have the debate winter school workbook?
Yes, the workbook is there. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
seen the drill one also.
So all you need to do is find a partner, and then you go through those drills with them. And if you are a little nervous about it and not sure what to say, you can just listen to. You can find two people who are doing it and just listen to them doing it, and that way
Yeah.
you can see how they're doing it. So yeah, you can
Okay.
join one of the private spaces, and there's also people down in front. So they're yeah, you can just go and
Okay,
see
thanks.
someone. Okay. Hello? I think you're muted. Yes. Do you want to unmute, or are you able to? Or maybe if you're on a cell phone, sometimes it's a little harder. Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello
So,
again. La.
oh, that's the leg.
She's again.
Do you want a partner to try the debate exercise?
Yeah, Keshala, I'm finding it difficult to find one.
Okay, well, if you can go. How about here, on the left here, and you can sit with them, and then we can rotate. Hey,
Take this up.
Connor, how's it going?
Me.
Is it alright if you guys maybe rotate with also Rigzin Norbu here? He didn't have a
Oh, of
partner.
course.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
definitely. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Example with this.
You're muted.
Okay, so now you understand what we're supposed to do?
One of us has to be challenger, the other one is a defender.
Okay, so which would
I will be challenger.
Okay.
Take the
Go ahead.
subject. Take the subject cow. It follows. It is animal.
I think you should say it is an animal.
No, I am reading what is written in the text.
Yeah, it says add articles like the, a, and.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Take the subject cow. It follows. It is an animal.
I accept.
Okay. Defender.
So
then
we can just
I accept,
both.
and then Y after 15. Okay. Take the subject cow. It follows. It is a camel.
Why?
Take the subject camel. It follows. It is a mammal.
I accept.
Take the subject mammal. It follows. It is a camel.
Why?
Take the subject car. It follows. It is a train.
Why?
Take the subject train car. It follows. It is a car.
I accept.
Why? Take as the subject sound waves. It follows it is sound.
Accept.
Sound.
Now I'll do the next one. Take as the subject the sound of bells. It follows that it is sound.
Accept.
Next you do.
Take as a subject the sound of bells. It follows it is intelligible sound.
Why?
Why?
I think they given a definition of intelligible sound?
I don't know. I have all no. I don't know.
I think that in our Dudra topics, sound caused by elements conjoined with consciousness, articulate, inarticulate, something like that is there.
Yes, we have articulated and inarticulated, not
Inarticulate.
intelligible.
Huh. Is
But
there any explanation of this intelligible in this?
I didn't check.
Okay.
I didn't check all
Let
the.
us just for the time being assume that intelligible is articulate, that is joined with consciousness. So that means somebody
That's
is
not
saying
the
it.
one that's conjoined with consciousness, though. That's right. The articulate sound just means the one that expresses a meaning, articulate or intelligible sound. But it's true, it doesn't really matter. So for this exercise,
Yeah.
it's in the end of the workbook where there's the outline, the debate outline. The definitions are in there. Yeah.
Okay. So I didn't do our homework.
No, we just sent it. You weren't expected to. These questions you're not expected to know any definitions. It's just that you guys have some background knowledge already. So I was just filling in.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So intelligible is, sound of bells don't really have meaning. I don't know. So we can just either skip it or agree on something.
Well, I underline it, so I have to check because I don't know what to answer here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
How do you underline?
Well, I make it on yellow. I highlight it on yellow to remember that I have to check it on my PFD.
How do you do that? I don't know.
You just select, and then you go on the highlights and note.
Do you want a partner, Lily? Lily, do you want a partner to practice? Or you're just...
Yeah, I cannot find one.
Oh, okay. You can also join another group and sort of rotate, but why don't we do some together because there's not much time left, so at least you can get some practice.
Yeah, sure, that's great.
Okay, so you have it. I'll start. I'll do the first 5, and then we can switch. Okay.
Wait. Which test are we using? I'm coming quite late, so.
Oh, okay. This is worksheet 1. Why don't I do a screen share so you can just see it? That would be easy,
that's
right?
great. Thank you.
So let's see, workbook. Here we are. Worksheet number 1. How do I do it?
Hi, please.
Okay. That's it. Here it is. See it? Can you see it there?
Yeah.
Okay. So here we just have the list of subjects and then a list of predicates. Those are called predicates. So we just read it as it's written here. So I'll start asking, and then you just answer. If you think it's true, you say I accept, and if you don't think it's true, you say why. Take the subject a cow. It follows that it is an animal.
Why?
Take the subject a cow. It follows that it is a camel.
Why?
Take the subject a camel. It follows that it is a mammal.
Why?
Take the subject a mammal. It follows that it is a camel.
I accept.
Take the subject a car. It follows that it is a train.
Why?
What? Okay, take this. I'll just go through half of them. Take the subject a train car. It follows that it is a car.
Why?
Take the subject a Toyota. It follows that it is a car.
Why?
Okay, take the subject car. It follows that it is a Toyota Prius.
I accept.
Take the subject Tesla. It follows that it is a car.
Why?
Okay. Take the subject a boat. It follows that it is form.
Why?
Why? Okay. Now you start asking me questions. Start with number 11.
Take the subject a boat. It follows its color.
Why?
Take subject what to say? It takes subject as a boat. It follows it is
Shape? Why?
take subject shape of a boat. It follows it is boat.
Why? The shape is why? I'll say. Can you see? Should I zoom in more?
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, okay.
Take subject the shape of a boat. It follows it is long shape.
I accept. Yes, I accept.
Take subject the shape of a boat. It follows it is tail shape.
Why?
Take subject the shape of a boat is follow it is form.
I accept.
Take subject form. It follows it is shape.
Why? Oh, I have to scroll down. Sorry. Let me see. How do I get back there? I had to close the window. Actually, though, I think we're out of time, but you got at least a little practice in, so I'm gonna ring the gong.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, I'm sorry it's hard sometimes, but next time you'll find a partner quickly.
Yeah.
You're doing great though. That's exactly the right way to practice this. Okay, so that's marking the end. Okay, I'll make a little announcement. Okay, everybody. So that bell marked the end of our first session, which, again, apologies for getting started late, getting ended a little bit late, but if you need to leave, please go on. And if you want to do some Q&A or just stay doing the drills with your partner, you're welcome to. Okay, I'll be in the temple for questions. And next session at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Okay.
Sorry, Tonya.
Yes, if you have a question, feel free to come on stage and ask your question. If it's just something personal or small, you can type it, and then I'll see it and address it that way. You can type it in the chat. Yes, Archie. Hi.
Actually, I do have questions, but I think the thing that you just said, I popped outside and I could hear it, but I couldn't hear it from in here.
Really?
I'm
That
not sure.
is news to me. Okay, thank you. So apparently, okay, thank you for letting me know. So what I just said was that we rang a gong that marks the end of the first session, and then you're welcome to stay for Q&A. But if you want to leave, then you're welcome to leave, and we'll see you at the next session, which is just a debate practice session. Okay. So anyone who wants to ask a question, just come on stage. It looks like Grace is already here, so maybe do you have a question?
Yeah, my question was, I mean, when we were doing these, it was difficult for me to answer because I didn't know the definition of some of the terms, like what is intelligible sound? What do you mean by intelligible sound? What do you mean by unintelligible sound? What's a natural sound? Like a lot of these things are totally out of context, so I'm not quite sure how to respond. Do you know what I mean? Like that's my talent.
Okay. Okay, so you I would say you just answer according to what makes sense to you. When you hear that term, intelligible sound, what in your mind, what does it mean? And then answer according to that. And again, this is just to train in the very basic structure. So those terms are defined in the outline that was mentioned, but for now it's not essential to go and look up the definitions. Okay.
Yeah, basically, when with the sort of definitions and the categories of things, you've got two choices. You can read the definitions that we've given you, which we would recommend that you start with, and those definitions are in the workbook at the end of the workbook, I think. And so that has a whole lot of definitions of what is intelligible sound and what is, what are the categories and what are this and that. And that's a great place to start. If there is something that doesn't have a definition, or if you're getting a bit sort of confident in yourself and you want to change the definition, you can do that. But the risk is that if you change the definition, you're going to end up contradicting yourself somewhere else. So given that the whole point of this is to not contradict yourself, I would recommend starting with the categories and the definitions that we've given you, and then seeing, how that plays out, basically. So that's on page, the workbook page number, oh, they don't have page numbers.
Should we do a screen share, maybe?
Yes, they do. 68 is where that information starts. So you can use that as sort of the basis.
Yeah, I'll do a quick screen share of it, just so everyone can see it, where we are. Okay, so the workbook. So this is the workbook, and we're on page 1 with the exercise. So if we scroll all the way down, you said 68, right? Then we get to the debate outline. Here we are. Matter and the physical world debate outline. Okay, page. Where are the page numbers? Oh, okay. There's no page numbers. Anyway, it's where 68 should be. Good. And so that's where we have definitions of these basic categories of matter. Thank you, Joe, and for the question, thank you, Grace. Next question, Venerable Yangchen.
Hello, Venerable Daniel. Hi, Joe. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
I just wanted to ask, because I came in late, I'm looking on the Debate School YouTube page, but I don't see your live stream there. So I want to listen to what I missed.
So how did you access it?
I just went YouTube and then Debate School. So I'm on Debate School, and it says videos, as recently, but I don't see it.
Is there any video there?
There's the one you did that was 4 minutes long, like a day ago.
Huh. I'm not sure why, but I can send. Okay, we'll look into that, but at least you're here.
Or should I access it a different way?
Well, we could send a link directly to the live stream out. Sure, yeah.
Okay,
but, but I just right now you don't need it, right? Because you're here. So.
I didn't hear. I only came in like 3 minutes before you finished, but it's okay.
All right.
At least we can talk to you. We can talk to you about that afterwards. And
okay, no worries.
We'll get
Thank you very much. Thank you for offering.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, the recording will also stay on YouTube, so you can catch up and watch that too.
Okay, thank you so much.
We'll send out the link directly to the live stream then.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
That's good to know.
Any other questions for now?
Can I just see a show of hands? Who thought that was super easy? Particularly people who haven't done it before. Great, excellent. So now that we've lulled you into a false sense of security, that debate is easy. Okay, great. That's good to know.
It will help, Joe, that we know what is to do in debate. Maybe we can talk about it for 2 minutes in the session. Or will it be guided first and then we break out? Or we straight away break out?
Sorry, can you ask the question? Lokeshla, can you repeat?
I mean, in the next session, Do we have a guidance before we
Yes.
start break
So in
out?
the next session, I will meet back in here.
Okay.
And for those of you for whom this is new, I will give a little introduction to the general background of debate. If you guys were here last year, you probably are already familiar with that stuff, and you don't need to know that. But we'll all meet in here anyway, and we'll introduce some new drills. And then the people who want to stay and find out a little bit about the kind of context, historical context, and background can stay for that. But that will be in 1 hour and 10 minutes from now. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Lokeshla?
Yes.
Great.
Thank you, Joe.
And also keep in mind that if you feel like this stuff is too easy and you want to, and you've done this before and you want to like get going into full debates, you are very welcome to do that. But also keep in mind that, it's really good to help beginners, through that process as well. So if you can find a balance between, sort of being off and running and helping others, that would be really, really appreciated. Okay, any other questions, or Daniela, did you?
Just agreeing, yes, that's right. We did want to mention that if you already are very familiar, you can start just debating, and we kind of forgot to mention that. Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay,
We
no
can
more
have you
questions.
round up then, yeah.
Okay, so again, just a couple closing things. This is, if it's your first time in debate, we're going very slowly, gradually, and giving a lot of time for people to just practice this simple format. And so next session, we will have, again, the coaches and instructors will be present. We're going to introduce what we'll be doing for the debate session, practice session, and then we'll again break out into groups. We'll have time for Q&A, so everything will be a little similar. We won't have that much explanation. We'll just jump right in and start. We'll have a little bit of background actually, but we'll do more practice time. Okay, we have one question from Samantha. Is that right?
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, great. I can't hear Joe when she's talking, like all the instructions that were given and everything that she said. I can hear everyone else, but I just can't hear her. And I think she's given out information that I might need to know for the next session, like as far as how we begin, where we meet here. I'm not sure what to do next.
Well, I can answer, but
I can't hear.
You can't hear me.
I don't know why.
So you may have muted her accidentally. So if you hover over her, Joe, try to unmute yourself.
Maybe we can let everybody else go. If there's no more questions,
everybody can,
else go.
if it's just technical questions and things. So everyone else just meet back here at the next session, and we will go over what the exercises will be. So everyone, thank you very much. I guess a lot of people are still here. I assumed more would leave early, or leave on time, but you're mostly staying. So yes, don't let us hold you if you don't have any question yourself. It looks like the questions are more of a technical nature, so please feel free to go have a break. So Samantha, for you, so Joe, unmute yourself, and then if you hover over Joe's window on your screen, then you may have accidentally hit the mute button on her screen. Do you see how you can do that?
I'm hovering over her now, and I see the little little thing you can talk into, and then I see a flower, and then I see a microphone and a camera, and so the microphone is not muted, the camera has not got that line through it, and then and so I'm not sure why, but I can hear you and I can hear everyone.
Sometimes this software, this app just has some strange bugs with it. We've noticed that. We've used it for the past 2 years as well, and occasionally there's sort of an inexplicable bug somewhere. So hopefully next time you log in, you just close it and log in again next time. Hopefully it will just sort of work itself out, because it seems like everyone else can hear her. So let's hope.
And one last question: when I log back in, do I just go back to the link that you sent out originally?
Exact same link. Yep, every time it's same place, same link, same place. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, good. Okay, everybody. So if there are no further questions, we will, take a break and come back for more debate. And okay, great. See you all soon.